Hello, everybody. Thanks for taking a break from stalking your ex on Facebook to learn a little bit about hazmat with me. We're going to be talking about placards today. So we're in step 2 of the hazmat container 4-step. This one's for markings. When you're looking at these accidents that you're seeing on the screen right now, I want you to ask yourself, is there hazmat inside those trailers? You should be shaking your head yes right now. I know nobody can hear you doing it, but you should be sitting at your computer right now, staring at the screen, shaking your head yes. There can be hazmat on board and no placards on the outside. It's because of Table 1 and Table 2 commodity rules that we have in the hazmat regulations. So the first one we're going to talk about is Table 1. Anything on this list that you're seeing now has to have a placard in any quantity. It doesn't matter if you have 1 ounce of it or 4 tons of it, it has to have a placard. This includes things like explosives that have an explosion blast or projection hazard, poison gas, high levels of radioactivity. We've got organic peroxides that have to be refrigerated. Lots of different things that are on this table, but overall, very few of all of the regulated materials are included in Table 1. Most of them are going to be included in Table 2. When something is listed on Table 2, it does not have to have a placard until you hit 1,001 pounds. Again, that's half a ton of hazmat you can be hauling without a single placard on board. And these aren't low risk items. I mean, we're talking about other types of explosives, flammable gases, biomedical waste. I mean, think Ebola samples and stool samples from people that have smallpox. Good times. We've got lower levels of radiation. We've got corrosives like acids and caustics. There's all kinds of things included on this chart that I would consider a high hazard. Yet they're on Table 2 and they do not require a placard until you hit 1,001 pounds. So remember that just because you don't see a placard on the outside of the container, that does not mean that there is not hazmat on board. Furthermore, there's hazmat in the cab of the truck. Most truck drivers are disgusting. No offense to anybody listening that are truck drivers, but I've cleaned up a lot of disgusting stuff out of the cabs of trucks, including meth labs, sexual related items. You name it, I found it in the cab of a truck. So even if there's not hazmat in the back of the trailer, you should be thinking about hazmat in the cab of that truck. Furthermore, we have something called special permits. These special permits allow you to haul hazmat outside of the regulations. So you have to look up that special permit. You're going to go to PHMSA, phmsa.dot.gov. And in their search bar, type in special permits. About the second thing down is going to be a special permit search. You type in that special permit number, and it'll tell you exactly why they got that special permit. It is very important that you look this up every single time you see a special permit. This allows them to do all kinds of crazy stuff, like haul high explosives on aircraft and haul what you're seeing on the screen without a single placard on board. This was when I worked that we had a smell of bromine coming out of the trailer, which if you've never smelled it before, kind of has that piercing scent like chlorine, but it's a little bit different. It's hard to explain. But this is a corrosive poison inhalation hazard that was allowed to be hauled in large quantities as long as each individual container didn't exceed 1 liter. There wasn't a single placard on the outside of this for a poison inhalation hazard corrosive material. So always look up the special permit. So this is another case where you won't see placards on the outside of the container, and it all revolves around money. It's cheaper for them to transport these items without placards on the outside, so they lobby Congress and get these special permits and things issued. So just remember, just because you don't see a placard on the outside does not mean that there is not hazmat on board. Always pay attention. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.